basically their version of the boogeyman. Hello there. What? What?
No prologue. Story. Chutik blew up and the book ended. Fix. Now.
Okay. Castle of Wizardry by David Eddings, and published in 1984, begins. Our heroes are running through the quickly crumbling city. Barrick carries an unconscious Belgarath, and Garion carries the nameless kid. Garion is struggling, not because the little boy is heavy, but because of the Orb of Alder.
Right. That thing they've been scouring the world for.
Yep. As far as they know, only this kid can touch it without dying. Eventually, it needs to be returned to the throne room in Riva, but right now it keeps invading Garion's mind and distracting him. It's happening to the others too, but
Garion is the main character. Check. Continue.
Relg leads the group back into the tunnels to escape. It's good he's there, as the tunnels collapse under the city. Relg is able to sense these collapses and knows which ways lead to dead ends and which ones lead to safety. On their way up to the city, they discovered an escaped slave woman, a Merrick.
Is she okay?
Just about. The mouth of the tunnel she's in collapsed, trapping her behind the rubble.
But Relg can walk through walls. He can get her.
He can, and he does. And eventually they all make it safely to the base of the cliff where their horses are patiently waiting. The goal is to get back to the border where the Algars are waiting for them. Silk lays a half-hearted false trail to buy them enough time to get a head start, but patrols are all over, looking for them. And then the problems really begin. Their horses are completely starting to wear out. The Murgos are getting closer, and Belgarath is just starting to regain consciousness. The race is close. In fact, it's so close they have to change the plan. Instead of going down the nice hill to where all the lovely bloodthirsty Algars are waiting for them, they choose to go down deep switchbacks that should slow their pursuit. Once at the bottom, Durnick lights a fire to slow the Murgos. The smoke rises just like a chimney, and would have been great if the Murgos hadn't started throwing boulders down on our group. Belgarath uses his sorcery to chuck the boulders back, but his fight with Tuchik exhausted him. Garion stays to help, but that just makes the old sorcerer cranky.
And the Algars? The Murgos are just going to keep following as soon as the fire is out. And you said the horses were tired.
Our crew hopes the fire will let the Algars know where they are, and that the plan has changed. Just as the horses are about to give out, Murgos closing in on them. No hope in sight! A horde of mounted Algars appear and beat the enemies back.
Yes! About time!
They were safe. For the moment, and then Belgarath passed out.
Good timing?
Between his fight with Tuchik, the mad scramble through the desert back to the border, fighting gravity in the boulder toss, he had nothing left. Polgara did what she could, but he slept the rest of the journey to the Algar stronghold.
Is he okay?
Polgara was confident he would make a complete recovery, at least physically.
That's ominous.
Her real concern for her father was that his power, his sorcery, would not be recoverable. And Belgarath, while he often used his power without thought, didn't always use it frivolously. And until he tried, they wouldn't know if he was still a sorcerer. And Polgara wasn't going to tell him. A single shred of doubt could render him powerless forever.
Ah, that explains why it didn't work when I tried it.
They stay for a little while in the Algar stronghold. Oh, and Garion meets his cousin, and he creates a new kind of flower just for her.
Wait, hang on. Garion has a cousin?
Adara, on his mom's side of the family. She and the king and the queen and some other Algars join them as they finally set out to return the orb to Riva. And they're on a deadline, so they really need to get moving.
They got the rock. Why hurry?
They need it back by Aristide. There is a reason. I'll
get to it later.
Shouldn't be too long. They stop and pick up Sinedra from Olgo, get a bit lost in Sindaria, and then finally make it up to Riva. Everyone is waiting for them there. Kings and queens, the Rivan warder, and Leldarin.
What's so funny?
As soon as they arrive, Leldarin takes Garion aside and tells him all about his journey. The archer is talented. Okay, so last we saw Leldarin, he had been poisoned and was staying with the knight and his sister. Polgara had sent a message for Leldarin to go to Riva, and Ariana, the sister, insisted on coming with him. So they snuck out. And, Leldarin may have broken the knight's leg again. They got married. It only took a few broken teeth for the priest to agree to marry them. And then Leldarin got into a duel with his cousin and ran him through the leg a bit.
A bit?
And he's kind of an outlaw now.
I feel like I should be surprised, but this falls into my expectations for Arends.
And Leldarin is one of the most Arendish Arends to ever Arend. But anyway, they made it in time. Aristide is tomorrow. It's also Garion's birthday, just so you know.
That sounds important.
Oh, it is. Everyone gets all dressed up, and then most everyone assembles in the throne room. Polgara and Belgarath address the crowd while Garion and the kid, they named him Erend, by the way, they wait for their signal to enter with the orb.
Erend? Well, that's a weird name.
It's the only word he knows. And he has an errand, to return the orb to its rightful owner.
The dead kings.
Garion.
No.
Garion is the rightful owner.
But that would mean Garion is the king? Garion is the lost king. Why didn't I see that coming?
Not sure. It's similar to King Arthur in many ways.
Who?
You know the Muppets, but not King Arthur? Huh. Well, the crowd starts cheering, all except for one person. Sinedra.
Wait. She's betrothed to the Rivan King, who is now Garion.
It takes Garion a little longer to figure it out, and he's confused. What's her problem? Doesn't she want to marry him?
Doesn't she?
Actually, yes. She's just peeved that he outranks her.
I'm glad I'm not a princess.
Anyway, Garion decides the best way to tackle that problem is to structure their betrothal so she's co-ruler. That satisfies her.
Uh-huh.
Dating services weren't the only things the prophecy provides. It also gives Garion rather specific instructions about the future.
Uh-huh.
I'm condensing a lot of things here. Garion has been king for about a month or so, survived an assassination attempt, and is now being told that all of the West, the Aloran kingdoms, Arendia, Tolnadra, Naisa, could go to war against the Murgos, and millions could die.
Or
Garion can go and fight Torak one-on-one for the fate of the universe. And so, Garion quickly recruits Belgarath and Silk, and the three of them sneak out of Riva. Their trip is dismal. They go through Drasnia, more specifically through the Fens. They spend a short amount of time being held hostage by the Witch of the Fens and her Fenlings.
what?
They're kind of like otters, and the witch had been living there for centuries, teaching them. They trap the trio in the Fens until Belgarath uses his sorcery to teach them to talk.
Has Belgarath used that since he passed out?
No, but he calls on Alder for assistance and proves he is just as powerful as ever. They're able to continue on their way, pass through the capital of Drasnia, join a caravan, and make their way to the lands of the Murgos.
There's only one book left, right?
Right, but we're actually not quite done yet. See, Garion left Polgara a note as they snuck out, and she's
Angry?
scary beyond all reason. She basically creates a thunderstorm and blows up everything in her room. The kings, who are all still at Riva, begin to plan the campaign, but they're stuck. Everyone would have followed Garion to war. He's the long-lost Rivan king, the overlord of the West. But Garion isn't there. And they don't really have a way to recruit the Tolnadrans or the Arends. Sinedra does, though.
Dare I ask?
Garion gave her a special necklace. Well, it really came from Polgara and Belgarath, but anyway, it allows her to eavesdrop on people from anywhere in the castle. And when she heard the kings arguing, she came up with a plan. Since she was going to co-rule with Garion once they got married, she decided she would lead the army. After all, she'd be able to recruit the Tolnatrons since she's their princess. And being a girl trying to save her true love, the Arends would probably follow her.
Okay, let's go.
Sinedra and her army march through Arendia. She delivers dramatic speeches and collects thousands of able-bodied men ready to fight for her. She tricks her father and the Tolnatrons, and her army, containing soldiers from almost every country in the west, marches to the borders of the lands of the Murgos.
And the battle begins!
In the next book.
Dang it.
We'll pick up with the final book in this series, Enchanter's Endgame, next time.
What did you make this time?
Bulbasaur?
What? But that's got nothing to do with any of this.
No, but I needed to make it for someone anyway, and I had limited time. See you next time.